Hello and welcome to Skypothesis. We are excited to present to you our next build, the VOLKIHAR KNIGHT. We've drawn inspiration from a variety of sources in the world of entertainment to create a fresh and unique build for vanilla Skyrim. It is our hope that this channel will inspire you to return to the game with a fresh perspective and a deeper roleplay experience. So without further ado, we proudly present to you the VOLKIHAR KNIGHT. A swift and efficient killer, the VOLKIHAR KNIGHT is capable of both slipping through the shadows and going toe-to-toe with any challenger in open combat. He wears his intimidating persona like armor, and uses his vast network of influence to manipulate the hand of society from behind the scenes. Whether as the Thieves Guild Master, Thane of a Hold, Dragonborn, or the Lord of the VOLKIHAR clan, he is on a quest to be unstoppable. He cares little for petty indulgences and gold. He desires power, knowledge, and influence. The VOLKIHAR Knight was born in High Rock. A land baron near Daggerfall had 3 sons, all with different mothers. Though wealthy, he was a minor player on the political stage and sought constantly to improve his standing through political maneuvers, marriages, or business acquisitions. Fortune, it seemed, had finally found him when his 3 sons grew up to be prodigies in both academics and physical prowess. He enlisted them to be trained in the sword, that they might bring him fame as arena duelists. He paid for private instruction from the school of Julianos with hopes that they might become court mages and gain influence to elevate the family standing. The older 2 brothers worked hard to prove themselves to their father, but the youngest watched and learned. He imitated his father's subtle art of lying and noticed whenever a bag of coins would be passed under the table during business dealings. One day, they awoke to find their father dead. His scams and shady business had angered the wrong people. An assassin was hired to take him out while debt collectors quickly moved in and claimed all the family's assets. Within a day, the gears of the Daggerfall political scene shifted, and the 3 brothers' lives were turned upside down. The oldest continued training with the sword and became a knight. The other became an apprentice with the school of Julianos. The youngest fled Daggerfall and turned to a life of crime in Cyrodiil. He stole from merchants, lied about his past, and scammed his way through the next few years while he tried to find a new path. He would not stop moving until he found a place where he could be the one in control and answer to no one. His path led him from Breville to the Imperial City, to Bruma, and then across the border into Skyrim, where he was ambushed on his way to Riften, the city of thieves. The VOLKIHAR Knight carries himself like a true vampire lord. He strides proudly instead of running. He holds his ground when ambushed and prefers to let his enemies come to him when in open combat. He uses the most efficient method to get a task done. Sometimes that's slipping in quietly to get what he needs, sometimes that's influencing others to do his bidding with illusion, and sometimes he just needs to draw his sword and leave a trail of blood. Whichever will get results. He does not protract fights, the first blow is usually the last. For quest lines, it's important to prioritize the VOLKIHAR questline early, as there are a couple pieces of mandatory gear available about halfway through. The other vampires of the court are accustomed to centuries of slow political movements, and so when he enters the scene, they feel threatened by his power and are not used to dealing with someone who is a capable warrior. After centuries of thinking nobody could kill Lord Harkon, they are all more than willing to step in line and follow his leadership when he does. He is a lawful evil character, and strongly opposes Harkon's plans. A dominated society can't be exploited, and causing pure mayhem requires no skill or tact. For this reason, he also destroys the Dark Brotherhood. Killing for gold is far beneath him, and he will suffer no rivals in the underground societies of Skyrim. He will complete the main quest to steal the power of the dragons, College of Winterhold to become the Archmage, and join the Thieves Guild to leverage their influence and resources when needed. He investigates ancient ruins for sources of power and collects the Daedric and Dragon Priest artifacts. He will claim all these sources of magic and power in Skyrim in the name of the VOLKIHAR clan and lead them to an era of unprecedented prosperity and influence. Now let's dig into creating the character. For armor, we have chosen to use the Vampire Gauntlets and Boots, Vampire Lord Armor, and the Solitude Holdguard Helmet. We think the combination of cape and pauldrons on the armor plus the closed helmet make for a very Darth Vader-y look. They match perfectly, and the helmet's reddish cloth even matches the armor. You can acquire the helmet by murdering the guard standing just outside the gates to Solitude. There are never any witnesses here, so feel free to murder him as soon as you're able to. The armor can be looted off a shelf in the VOLKIHAR ruins near the end of the dungeon in the room with the half-carved gargoyles. For auxiliary gear, you will want the Galder Amulet and the Ring of the Erudite, which grants a whopping plus 100 points to Magicka and a strong regen bonus as well. When combined with the 125% regen on the Vampire Lord armor, you will rarely have Magicka management issues. For his weapon, we have chosen to use the Bloodskull Blade, both for its aesthetic and its utility in combat. Every Sith Lord needs a sinister red blade, and the glowing beam of energy actually stacks with the damage done by the blade itself. Another good option to look into is the Ebony Blade, but we personally didn't feel that it matched this character quite as well. Moving on to spells and shouts. The VOLKIHAR Knight makes full use of the School of Illusion. We recommend learning every Calm and Fury type spell as soon as you can. Muffle and Invisibility will have important situational uses, as the Sneak skill is only lightly perked. For Restoration, you will use Close Wounds and Greater Ward. When you have the Necromage perk, Close Wounds grants almost a full heal on a single cast, and wards are extremely useful when fighting dragons and other mages. For Shouts, his power-hungry nature drives him to learn all that he can. Unrelenting Force, Disarm, Marked for Death, Drain Vitality, Become Ethereal, and Throw Voice will all be used. Unrelenting Force is particularly fun when imagined in the context of a Sith Lord using the Force. For his stat spread, we recommend starting with a ratio of 1 Magicka, 2 health, and 1 stamina. The major boost to Magicka from the Ring of the Erudite allows for some flexibility, so once you obtain it, you will have the freedom to allocate more into health and stamina. We recommend using the Lady Stone, which grants additional regeneration to health and stamina, and allows vampires to be more functional in the daylight. By the time you hit level 40, you will want the following perks. For Illusion, we recommend perking the entire tree with the exception of Master Illusion, which we feel isn't worth the effort, but feel free to take it if you want. In Two-Handed, you will want all 5 perks in Barbarian, Champion Stance, Great Critical Charge, Devastating Blow, and Sweep. In Restoration, you will want the Novice through Adept perks, Regeneration, Respite, and most importantly, Necromage. In Light Armor, you will want 1 perk in Agile Defender, Custom Fit, Unhindered, and Windwalker. In Sneak, you will just take 3 perks in Stealth. Illusion more than makes up for the rest of this skill tree, plus he only sneaks when he absolutely has to. In Smithing, you will want Steel Smithing and Arcane Blacksmith. This will allow you to upgrade your armor and Bloodskull Blade. Finally, in Enchanting, you will want just 2 perks in Enchanter and 1 in Fire Enchanter. This is done to put a mild fire resistance enchantment on your boots and helmet. The combination of these lightly enchanted items actually makes a huge difference for vampires, and are really all that you will need through most of the game. If you plan to play past level 40, we recommend perking the Block Tree, adding more perks to Light Armor, and you can always add more to Enchanting to make better gear for late game. And now moving on to our favorite part of every build, the special moves. First, we have Blink, which is Whirlwind Sprint plus Quiet Casting. This allows you to silently reposition before starting combat. Instead of a sprint, imagine yourself quietly teleporting to an enemy in the blink of an eye. Next is Hall of Mirrors, which is the combination of Frenzy Rune, Throw Voice, and Quiet Casting. Lead enemies into your mind trap, then calmly dispatch them one at a time. Everywhere they turn, they will see reflections of you instead of their friends. Finally, we have Bloodlash, which is Become Ethereal and the Bloodskull Energy Wave. As long as you don't hit the enemy with the actual blade itself, the Energy Blast does not break Become Ethereal, allowing you to deal damage while remaining completely immune. There are endless possibilities, and these just scratch the surface. We encourage you to have fun combining different skills in the game into single moves unique to your character. And with that, we are ready to wrap up the build. We always try to keep a great synergy between unique aesthetics, engaging roleplay, and functional gameplay, and we believe that we've made a very well-rounded Dark Lord character in the VOLKIHAR Knight. We hope you've enjoyed the journey, and if you like what we do, be sure to like and subscribe to keep the magic of Skyrim alive. We'll see you next time, right here on Skypothesis.